Hi, my name is Guy Fredrickson. Today is Wednesday, January 11th, 2023, and this video is about the resources I've found to help with the restoration I'm doing on the 61 Chris Craft and the 57 Martinek. I thought I'd share this list with you. First up is Snake Mountain Boat Works. I've never talked to these people directly, but this has been my #1 resource for learning the steps involved in restoring a boat like the Chris Craft I'm working on. They post a lot of very good YouTube videos on all aspects of that kind of work, from disassembly to 5200 bottoms to painting, staining, varnishing, sanding. So a lot of good information here. I highly recommend you seek out their YouTube channel. These two companies are known for engine work. It's Chris Craft Parts, Robert Henkel, and Van Ness Engineering, David Van Ness. I bought the kit to convert the Chris Craft engine from a generator to an alternator from Robert. And I purchased the long block replacement for the Chris Craft from David, and I also sent him the transmission and the carburetor off the Chris Craft to be rebuilt. Very friendly people, good resources there. Federal Marine Transmissions was very helpful in rebuilding the Paragon transmission off the Martinek. I think Paragon went out of business in the 1980s, but they still had some of the seals and the bearings that I needed, kind of new old stock, and gave me some very useful information on how to do the job. Lake Oswego Boat Company makes stains for old boats that match the originals. So this is where I got the red stain and the blonde stain I'm going to use on the Chris Craft. Sandusky Paint Company is where I got the bilge paint and the copper bronze bottom paint I'm using on the Chris Craft. Not sure how to pronounce this. Kosian Instruments. This is where I plan to send the gauges from the Chris Craft to be restored. This company is highly recommended by Snake Mountain Boat Works, as is DNS Plating, which does chrome work. So all the chrome hardware on the Chris Craft I'm going to send out to be re-chromed, and I'll use either DNS Plating or Graves Plating, not sure which, but both these companies have excellent reputations. Then there's Woody's Restorations. These people have been very helpful. They're very friendly. This is where I got the upholstery fabric for the Chris Craft, fabric that matches the original fabric from the 1960s. They have two companies underneath them, Custom Canvas and Rayco Manufacturing. I'm pretty sure Custom Canvas does upholstery restoration for boats and cars and such, and I don't know everything Rayco does, but they make new gas tanks for these old boats. They're out of Kentucky. Good company. Harper's Marine Engines has a long history with Chris Craft engines. This is where I got a gasket kit and the hoses for the Chris Craft engine. Classic Boat Connection is a company that deals with vintage boat parts of all sorts. Vents, trim, pumps, headers, steering wheels and such. So good source for hard to find parts like that, the old hardware. Similar with fine wood boats. The wood I've purchased from Edensaw Woods and McBeath Hardwood. So my purchases from Edensaw were shipped to Idaho, and then I've made a couple trips myself down to Salt Lake City to McBeath. But again, very friendly people, very knowledgeable and helpful. Smith & Company is the manufacturer of Smith's Clear Penetrating Epoxy Sealer and their two-part epoxy fillet. Both good products, and again, they have a lot of online resources on how to use those products, but very helpful people on the phone. Kind of industrial supply companies, there's Fisheries Supply and Jamestown Distributors for marine products. They both have tech support, and Jamestown publishes a lot of DIY videos on different aspects of painting and varnishing and fiberglassing and such. Cobra Transmission is where there's the band that goes around the reverse planetary gear assembly in the Paragon transmissions on my boats. So I sent the one from the transmission on the Martinak. When I was rebuilding it, I sent that band to Cobra Transmission for a new lining. Again, very helpful people. Last sheet. On both of my projects, I plan to do all the upholstery work myself, the seats, the covers, the biminis. Sailrite is a good resource for those types of supplies. They also post a lot of DIY videos on upholstery work. Bolt Depot and Top Notch Fasteners are where I got all my silicon bronze hardware, the wood screws and the carriage bolts and such. And then of course eBay. Keep your eyes open on eBay and you can find a lot of good things from old hardware and lights and those sorts of vintage items from the past. Well, that's it. Hey, thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.